So round 6, the Monaco Grand Prix, the one that everyone wants to win, and it was won by the pole man. Can be a bit processional, but this one was not at all, and really Lewis Hamilton had to work for it, and that was because Max Verstappen was hounding him all the way, and it really came to a head at one moment. 3 laps from the end, Verstappen attacked down to the Nouvelle chicane.
Might have the wrong tyre on, man.
So Hamilton's been complaining about the tyres on the radio for a long time. He pitted onto the mediums, the 2 drivers behind onto the hards, and then Bottas had a puncture and had to go for hards as well. So everyone behind him in the queue were on hard tyres. He was on the medium, and that inherently won't be as good in terms of tyre life. So he's struggling with the left front particularly, and for a long time he's on the radio complaining he's going to need a miracle, he's never going to be able to do it.
I can't keep the car behind, Bono. Can you not see that?
He did do it. And let's have a look at the moment it nearly got away from him. So if we look through the hairpins here, Max Verstappen was always getting very close down towards Lowe's hairpin particularly. And Hamilton just can't turn his car as quickly as Max Verstappen. Verstappen's got better front tyres. When you've got a grained front tyre, any sort of damage on the front tyre, you just turn the wheel and the car doesn't turn as quickly as you want it to. The only thing Hamilton's able to do is just stop the car on the apex of the corner and use the tyres that are in good condition, the rear tyres, which is crucial to how he holds on. So finally, the run to the tunnel, and Verstappen managed to get the car straighter earlier, and now he's got the best chance he's probably had all Grand Prix long. It's a Hail Mary, do or die at the chicane, the win or nothing. Hamilton sees it coming. I'm sure he sees it coming in the mirrors, because look, if I pause it there, that's not a normal turn-in point for Lewis Hamilton. He's turned in very early. He's not really turning left, he's just ushering Verstappen towards the wall on the inside. So he's definitely seen it coming. He didn't defend, which he easily could have done, and no one goes around the outside of the Nouvelle chicane, but he didn't think Verstappen was close enough to make him defend. Probably there was a moment here for Lewis Hamilton where he thought, oh no, he's gone for it. And it was nearly, oh no, because they just have actually a reasonable touch right front of Verstappen, left rear of Hamilton. And this is where Hamilton's quite smart. He just doesn't even try and turn into the corner. He's just ushered Verstappen towards the wall on the inside, waits for a tiny bit of contact, which he wouldn't have wanted, but as soon as he felt something, just bail out of it across the chicane. And there he goes off to his Grand Prix victory. Got so much respect in this race for Max Verstappen because he made it a race. The 2 behind him didn't. Vettel and Bottas on the hard tyres, same as Verstappen, didn't seem to try to overtake the car in front at all. But Hamilton ultimately was really smart. He drove a very mature race, really. He didn't need to go and win this race by 10 seconds or more. He probably couldn't because of the tyre life anyway, but never really unleashed any pace. But he was in the best position around Monaco, in the lead, and he managed to control it to the win in the end. The question is, Mercedes won 2s in the first 5 races. How was Verstappen even in second place to challenge when it was a Mercedes 1-2 on the grid? And it all came down to the race of the local boy Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Now, there's not much to say about his Saturday. I mean, I can't put it any other way. Ferrari absolutely messed up. It was he topped FP3. He was looking like he had some good pace, could have challenged, but they didn't put him out on track at the end of Q1 and he got bumped out. So he turned up on Sunday with a point to prove, and you could absolutely see it. From the word go, Charles Leclerc was a man on a mission. Passed Kimi Räikkönen at the start, so that was already one spot, up to 14th. Lap 2, Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc straight through on the inside then at the Lowe's hairpin. Difficult place to pass, but Leclerc is incisive with the overtake. He doesn't give Norris a chance, he's just straight on the inside. The steering lock of the Ferrari is pretty good. He doesn't even come too close to the wall on the exit. So next up for Leclerc, Romain Grosjean. Unconventional move, but it is a move around Monaco. Every move around Monaco is fairly unconventional. Beautiful Monaco move, this one. He committed hard enough, Grosjean left the door open wide enough, and there's almost a slight touch as Grosjean tries to turn in, but he can't turn in because Leclerc's got his Ferrari there, and through he goes. So that was a really super move. Grosjean complained it was a kamikaze move. If that's a kamikaze move, then I think probably we shouldn't go racing in Monaco anymore. Let's just safety car at the end of lap 1. You know, that is exactly the sort of move that you have to do in Monaco. They're always aggressive, but this one was a perfect one. Next man ahead, Nico Hülkenberg, and this one is an important one because Leclerc started on the different tyres. He started on the mediums, everyone else started on the soft apart from Hülkenberg ahead on the mediums. So the strategy was going to be go long, wait for everyone to pit on the soft, get some free air and just go. Now he wouldn't have been able to do that with Hülkenberg ahead because Hülkenberg was thinking the same thing with the Renault. So this is a move he has to do, but it's a move he got wrong. And a couple of really nice successful moves followed by an impatient move for Charles Leclerc, this one. It was the very next lap.
Do I have a picture?
We have a puncture.
There's a couple of key differences for this one. Firstly, the main one, Hülkenberg, he's tighter to the first apex of Rasgas. If I pause it there, as they're coming into the first apex, there's not really a space that Leclerc can go into. So he has to just wait. With Grosjean, he was just slightly wider and Leclerc could commit on the first part and have his car bang on the inside of Grosjean. Grosjean could do nothing about it. Here, Leclerc can't commit to that first apex. He'll just simply go into the side of Hülkenberg. So he has to wait. And by then, he's only got half a car alongside Hülkenberg by the second apex. Hülkenberg can carry on turning. And he hit the wall. Great race, but over too quickly. And it was just impatience, really, for Charles Leclerc. I love what he was trying to do. He was clearly a man on a mission. He wasn't very happy with his Ferrari team. That's an understatement at the end of qualifying. Leclerc could well be a Formula One champion in the future. I think he could well be a rally champion in the future as well, because the way he got back to the pits was incredible on 3 wheels around Monaco, but it created a safety car, and that is what changed the Grand Prix. Bottas, Verstappen, Vettel all come into the pits at the same time. Bottas has a problem because he's the second Mercedes driver. Hamilton's leading the Grand Prix, so they have to stack. So he bunches the guys behind him at the final corner just to create the space so Hamilton can come in, do his pit stop and go, and Bottas comes in. It was a good job they practiced this in China because a few races later and they have to do it again. And Mercedes did a good job. They managed to get Bottas through pretty quickly, but not as quickly as Verstappen, whose Red Bull crew were just waiting for him and could put all their efforts into just one set of tyres for Max Verstappen. So Verstappen exits the pits, Bottas is there in the fast lane. Monaco, you cannot go side by side. It's such a narrow pit lane. It's not allowed. So Verstappen immediately picks up a penalty for an unsafe release. It's clear. There's no real way to argue it. And Verstappen is looking in his right-hand mirror. You can just see, he knows Bottas is there. He knows it's going to be super tight. And he's edging Bottas towards the wall. Bottas just touches the wall. And as soon as Verstappen feels the contact, he just steers left and opens it up. He wants to put the squeeze on Bottas to try and get his rival to just back out of it, blend out of the throttle, and Verstappen can take the fast lane, thank you very much. Ultimately, the unsafe release is not his fault. As a driver, you wait in the pit lane, you wait for the green light, you see the green light, you go. Now, it's the fault of Red Bull, but they didn't have a huge option really here. Because if Red Bull waited for Bottas to go through, which they should have done according to the rules, they would have also had to let Sebastian Vettel through because Vettel was tucked in right behind Bottas. They probably were still better off doing that because then he could try and chase Hamilton on the medium tyres, try and win the Grand Prix rather than just have a lonely race to fourth. So Verstappen had a penalty in the end. Bottas was also unlucky. That promoted Sebastian Vettel into second place. Unbelievable. He's done really not much in the Grand Prix. He's done not much all weekend and suddenly he's in second place. He had a really, really scrappy weekend, Sebastian Vettel. Still ended on the podium with his best result of the year, the only man to interrupt the 1-2s, but I think he would be the first to tell you he didn't really deserve it this time. He crashed in FP3, he nudged the wall twice in qualifying, nearly went out in Q1 as well. It was only a few seconds left on the clock when he managed to get his final lap in. He didn't show much in the race either, Sebastian Vettel. I'm not sure if they'll take a huge amount of comfort going forward because the pace didn't seem to be great. But anyway, Sebastian Vettel's on the podium and probably a happy chap. The other main incident in the Grand Prix, much further back, Antonio Giovinazzi tried to pass Robert Kubica, and we very nearly had a red flag situation, a car park, because Kubica blocked the entire track whilst he was trying to get going again. Let's have a quick look at this one. Antonio Giovinazzi behind Robert Kubica, the Williams very slow. He has a little look, but it's a little look. It's nothing really more for Giovinazzi. It's super half-hearted. It's just a hope that Robert Kubica turns left and parks the car up, I think. There's nothing more in this, and Kubica doesn't, and Giovinazzi just locks up and hits the back of him. So a really clumsy one, that for Giovinazzi. It's moments like this that just don't look so clever. He touched with Daniel Kvyat in a similar way in Bahrain. He got away with that one. but it's just where he's not committal to an overtake. He needs to really commit to these overtakes. He's just very half-hearted in battle. This was a much better Monaco Grand Prix than last year. This year, I think the tone was set early on by Leclerc, and people behind him would see the aggression. I think when one driver starts to show that you can overtake in Monaco, probably everyone else thinks, we'll give it a go as well. And it was good to see, really, from even Giovinazzi trying to go for an overtake, because the Monaco race can be unbelievably processional. It needs the drivers to want to race. Good on most of the drivers for giving it a good go this year.